After uncovering today's twisted web of lies, Amara was no longer the same woman. The heartbreak and betrayal had left scars, but they also ignited a fire within her, a resolve to bring him down. She had the evidence, the names, and the truth on her side, but exposing someone as manipulative as Tunde won't be easy. As she prepared for the battle ahead, one question lingered. How far was she willing to go to seek justice and reclaim her power? By dawn, Amara had created a WhatsApp group, naming it Tunde's Web of Lies. One by one, she added the women, her fingers moving with mix of determination and dread. Would they believe me? Would they want to join forces? The first response came within minutes. Wait, is this real? He said I was the only one. Then another. I have proof. He's been doing this for years. The messages poured in, anger and heartbreak woven into every word. Each woman had a story, each one eerily similar to Amara's own. By the time the last message came through, a silent agreement had formed. They won't let Tunde get away this time. For the first time, the women felt seen, heard, and united. Their pain became their strength. Together, they vowed to confront him, to expose the man who had lied to all of them. Tunde thought he controlled the web, but he was about to be caught in it. The WhatsApp group buzzed with activities as the women poured their hearts out, their stories forming a mosaic of deceit, but one message stopped everyone in their tracks. You all think you know Tunde. Let me tell you who he really is. It was from Ada, one of the women Amara had added to the group. Unlike the others, Ada had been mostly quiet, watching chaos unfold without sharing much until now. Her next message came with a picture, a grainy photo of Tunde, much younger, sitting in a fancy car with a small grin on his face. The caption read, "This is Tunde, right after he scammed my cousin out of everything he owned." The group went silent. Amara hesitated before typing. "What do you mean?" Ada responded swiftly. "My cousin was a tech entrepreneur. He partnered with Tunde on a project, trusted him completely. Tunde embezzled everything, left him bankrupt and disappeared. My cousin couldn't recover. He ended up taking his own life." The women were stunned. Tunde wasn't just a manipulator in relationship. He had a history of ruining lives. Another message popped up. "I knew it." This time it was from Shade, a woman Tunde had charmed years ago. "He told me he was a self-made businessman, but I always felt there was more to the story. He never gave me straight answer about his money." Piece by piece, the facade of Tunde's success crumbled. The women began digging, sharing everything they knew: fraudulent business deals, forged partnerships, and trial of broken lives. It all painted a picture of a man who thrived on lies and manipulation. Amara clenched her fist, anger simmering beneath the surface. "This isn't just about us," she typed. "He's been getting away with this for too long. It's time we put an end to it." Ada's reply came almost immediately. "Agreed, but this isn't just about exposing him publicly. We need to make him face every life he destroyed, every person he wronged. This isn't just revenge, it is justice." For the first time, the women weren't just a group of victims. They were a force united by purpose. With Ada's insider knowledge, they began formulating a plan, one that would strike at the heart of Tunde's carefully crafted world. His web of lies wasn't just about to unravel, it was about to implode. Amara stared at her phone, her fingers hovering over the screen. The group chat had exploded with ideas, but this one was bold, dangerous even. She took a deep breath before typing, "Let's go public, no more hiding." The response came almost immediately. "Yes, he will regret ever messing with us. Time to take him down." Within hours, the plan was in motion. Each woman crafted their own post, detailing the twisted rules, the panty swiping ritual, and Tunde's reckless regard for their health. Screenshots of his text, voice notes dripping with fake promises, and even photos of his infamous box panties all went live. The hashtags, Panty Scammer Tunde and Game Over, began circulating on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. By midday, they were already trending. Videos began popping up. Parodized reenacting today's absurd rituals. One showed a man wearing a mock business suit, dramatically tossing panties into a trash can while saying, "It's just my way of staying connected." Another mimicked his insistence on loyalty, captioned, "Meanwhile, he got a whole soccer team of girlfriends." The post spread like wildfire, drawing thousands of comments. "This guy is sick. I can't believe people like this exist. Ladies, thank you for exposing him. We stand with you." Tunde's carefully curated image as a sophisticated, successful businessman began to crumble. Influencers with millions of followers joined the conversation, reposting the women's stories with captions like, "Beware of men like this." Journalists reached out for interviews, and bloggers dissected the scandal. Even celebrities chimed in, sharing their disgust and rallying support for the women. Meanwhile, Tunde's phone buzzed incessantly. His colleagues, clients, and even his families were bombarding him with calls and messages. His business partner began to pull out of deals, unwilling to associate with the man at the center of a viral storm. For the first time, Tunde wasn't in control. His world was falling apart, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Amara watched as the likes, comments, and shares grew by the second. Her anger had turned into something else: power. As she refreshed her feed, she saw a new video from Ada. It was direct, powerful, and unapologetic. To every woman Tunde had manipulated, and every person he is deceived, this is your sign. Speak up. Take your power back. Amara smiled for the first time in weeks. This was only the beginning. Tunde's office, once bustling with activity and prestige, was eerily silent. The scandal had reached every corner of his professional world. One by one, his clients severed ties, disgusted by the viral expose. His phone, once a tool of manipulation, was now a source of constant dread. Missed calls, angry voicemails, and cut email all echoed the same sentiment: "We can no longer work with you." His carefully curated reputation as a sophisticated businessman lay in ruins. Without clients or contracts, his income dried up almost overnight. Desperation began to seep into his every move. He tried calling in favors, but no one wanted to be associated with the man whose name had become synonymous with betrayal and manipulation. But Tunde's karma didn't stop there. In a small cave on the outskirts of Lagos, Sade stared at her phone, a knowing smirk on her lips. Among the group of the women Tunde had wronged, she had a distinct advantage. During their relationship, Tunde had once asked her to manage a minor transaction using his banking app, trusting her completely at the time. He had shared his login details. She hadn't forgotten. Sade's hand hovered over her laptop as she texted the group, "I have access to his banking app. Should I?" The response came instantly. "Yes, he deserves every bit of this. Do it. He owes us for everything he put us through." Sade wasn't working alone. A tech-savvy friend sat beside her, guiding her through the process. With a few clicks, she was in. The screen displayed all of Tunde's accounts, every balance, every transaction, every hidden reserve. Her friends whistled, "This guy has been living large." Sade's lips curled into a grin. She scrolled through the accounts and settled on the one with a balance of 45 million naira. "This is for all of us," she said, as she initiated the transfer to her personal account. The notification pinged almost immediately. Sade leaned back, satisfaction washing over her as she sent a screenshot to the group. "It's done." Meanwhile, Tunde sat in his empty apartment, scrolling through endless social media posts mocking his fall from grace. His phone buzzed, and for a moment, hope flickered in his eyes. Maybe it was a new client or someone willing to help him. But as he opened the banking app, the color drained from his face. His account was empty. The message notification from the bank was blunt. 45 million naira transfer to Sade Akintola completed. Tunde's hand trembled as he stared at the screen. Rage boiled within him, but for the first time, he realized he wasn't the predator anymore. The women he had manipulated and controlled were now calling the shots, and he was powerless to stop them. Tunde's world had crumbled. and desperation seeped into every corner of his life. His once confident attitude was now a shadow of itself. As he scrambled to repair the damage, he began drafting messages, his fingers trembling as he tried to find the right words. "I'm sorry. Please give me a chance to explain. You are the only one I truly care about. Let me fix this." Each text carried a note of pleading, but they all went unanswered. Flowers began arriving at the woman's doorstep, extravagant bouquet of roses and handwritten notes attached. "I made mistakes, but my feelings for you were real. Please call me." Amara stared at the arrangement on her table, her expression cold. The words on the card felt hollow, a desperate attempt to reclaim control. She picked up the flowers and dumped them into the trash without a second thought. Meanwhile, Tunde's text flooded her phone. "Amara, I know I hurt you, but please, let's start over. You are different. You mean everything to me. I'll do whatever it takes. Just give me one more chance." Amara's fingers hovered over the screen as she read the words, her chest tightening. The old Amara must have caved, believing the sweetness in his lies, but not anymore. She opened his contact and tapped block. The relief was immediate, like a weight lifting from her shoulders. She had spent too long trapped in today's web of deceit, doubting herself and her self-worth. But now, she saw clearly, his apologies were just another attempt to manipulate her. Amara leaned back in her chair, a small smile forming. For the first time in weeks, she felt free. Tunde, however, spiraled further. With every blocked messages and unanswered calls, his desperation grew. He sent more gifts, left voicemails filled with sorrow, and even showed up unannounced at one of the women's workplaces, begging to talk. But the women had made their decision. They had moved past his lies and manipulation. They weren't falling for his charm anymore. Tunde's attempt to regain control only highlighted how powerless he had become. The predator was now the prey, left to grapple with the consequences of his actions. Amara glanced at the group chats. One of the women had posted a meme of Tunde's trending hashtag, #PantyScammer, paired with caption, "You reap what you sow." Amara chuckled softly. Yes, he did. Amara's days felt lighter, freer. The chains of Tunde's lies had been broken, and in their place was a renewed sense of self. Her mornings were now filled with aroma of freshly brewed coffee as she worked on sketches for a new design project, a project she had taken on solely for herself, without the shadow of anyone else's expectation. She had rediscovered her passions, her creativity, once stifled by the emotional weight of her relationship, now flowed effortlessly. She spent weekends exploring art galleries, attending workshops, and connecting with other designers who shared her vision. Each step she took felt like a reclamation of her identity, a declaration that she was enough on her own. Her laughter came more easily now, unburdened by doubt or manipulation. Even her friends noticed the change. Efe, over lunch one afternoon, smiled and said, "This is the Amara I've missed. Strong, vibrant, and unstoppable." Amara's phone buzzed, but she didn't flinch anymore. She knew the notifications weren't from Tunde. They never would be again. It was a chapter she had closed. Now she was writing a new one, filled with purpose, independence, and joy. Meanwhile, Tunde's world continued to unravel. His once polished shoes now scuffed the pavements of Lekki streets. The man who once radiated power and charm had become a shadow of his former self. His designer suits, one symbol of his carefully curated image, were long gone, replaced by worn-out shirts and trousers that hung loosely on his frame. The scandal had left him untouchable. His former clients had abandoned him, his accounts frozen or drained, and the circle of influence dissolved. Friends who once sang his praises now crossed the street to avoid him. The man who had once commanded rooms, with his presence now drew pitying glances from passerby. One afternoon, a group of teenagers jiggled as they walked past him. One of them muttered, "That's him, right? The guy from PantyScammer today." Tunde quickened his pace, his head down, but the words stung. The final blow came when he approached the restaurant he used to frequent, hoping to escape the heat and find some comfort. The waitress, once quick to greet him with a smile, shook her head and said, "Sorry, sir, we don't serve people like you here." Tunde sat on the bench outside, Staring blankly at the bustling streets of Lekki, he had once been the king of this city, a man of influence and wealth. Now it was a cautionary tale, a living reminder of how lies and greed could destroy even the most elaborated facades. As the sun set, casting long shadow across the pavement, Tunde remained seated, his figure silhouetted against the vibrant city he had once ruled. The man who had built a life on deception was now left with nothing but the weight of his own downfall. Trust is a fragile bond. It can take years to build, yet shatter in an instant. For Tunde, his web of lies unraveled, leaving him a shadow of the man he once pretended to be. His deceit destroyed more than trust, it destroyed lives. But for Amara, betrayal became a turning point. From the ashes of heartbreak, she found her strength, her passion, and her purpose. She rose above the lies, proving that renewal is possible even in the face of the deepest wound. Let this be a reminder. Trust is precious. Handle it with care. And for those who betray it, Karma will always find the final words. If you enjoyed this story, trust me, there is plenty more where that came from. Subscribe to Naija Life Story now and hit the notification bell, because why settle for boring when you can have all the juicy drama delivered straight to you? Don't wait, the tea is always hot here. Thanks for watching Naija Life Story, bringing life to every tales. Bye.